Well, hello. It is a couple days after Christmas, and we are in our new townhome in Park City, Utah. And as you can see, there is the fireplace. Now we're getting it all together, so I'm going to do you a very quick little tour. Here are the stairs to the second floor. And it whites out, so you can't see how pretty it is, but there's our kitchen. A lot of work's going to be done because my wife wants it just perfect. And you can kind of see the snow outside, and I guess it's probably equalizing a little bit, the light that is. We are surrounded by really beautiful trees and white, and supposedly there's a lake nearby as well. So I'm going to do the second chapter of our B-vlog of the Empty Nest Road Trip Blues, and I'm going to do it right here. Day 2, a bump in the road. We left Las Vegas and our gorgeous suite on the 28th floor of the hotel at the Mandalay Bay and headed towards the Grand Canyon and Monument Valley. Having not booked many other hotels for our trip, I suspected we'd just left the best room and comfort we'd experienced. I was right. On our way, we passed all the turnoffs to the Hoover Dam. We also passed a sign for the Grand Canyon Skywalk and decided that that should be our next stop and first detour. This is the relatively new bridge or span that extends out over the Grand Canyon and supposedly has astonishing views as well as is architecturally incredible. So we took the turnoff towards it and Dolan Springs, the tiny town 20 or so miles off the main highway. We tried to get information about the Skywalk by calling, but couldn't get much information from the person answering the phone, other than it costs something like $80 a person and that there's a line to get in of which she didn't have any idea how long it was. A bit unsure of this choice now, we stopped at the Dolan Springs Market to get something to drink. I returned to the car, our on-loan Ford Flex, only to discover it wouldn't start. After several checks of what might have gone wrong and no success at starting the car, I called AAA. The last look at the outside temperature gauge showed it creeping towards 100 degrees. 30 minutes or so later, Grizzly Adams showed up. His real name was Ralph, and he was everything you could imagine from central casting for such a remote location. Ralph looks over the car, determines that it's not the battery, sees that it's a push-button starter, and says there's nothing he can do but order a flatbed to take it to the Ford dealer in Kingman, Arizona, a short 40 miles away. I then call that dealership, and thankfully they were open on this getting hotter by the moment Saturday. I'm connected to the service department in Rodney. He says he'll wait for us to come in, though he was heading out to lunch. We arrive after squeezing next to Bill, the flatbed driver, in his old tow truck, and after driving the 40 miles or so to Kingman and this particular Ford dealer, Colorado River Ford and Lincoln. And if you click on the link there, you can go to them, and they were incredible. What followed was a Keystone Cops effort to figure out how to get the Flex out of park into neutral to more easily remove it from the flatbed. Nothing worked, as evidently this particular model of Flex was the first one anyone at this dealership had seen or heard about with a push-button starter. By now, Rodney Phillips had graciously allowed Arnie and me to camp out in his air-conditioned office. It also turned out that he was well connected at this dealership, as he was not only the service manager, but was married to the owner. And he was a heck of a nice guy. I sent Arnie off to find some lunch. I turn on my computer, access their Wi-Fi, and try to find the social media guys at Ford to see if they can offer any further help. No luck. It's a Saturday. I call my manager, and she begins to search for them as well. A while later, Rodney returns and asks where we'd like to stay for the next couple of nights, because that is the soonest he thinks they might be able to figure out what is going on with this particular Ford Flex model. I explain that we're on a tight schedule heading towards Boston and tell him the context of how I got a loan this particular automobile. We have a laugh at the irony of it all, and he helps me find the nearest rental car place that is open and has a large enough available car to rent. What is it? A Ford Edge. We then unload all of Arnie's stuff from our Flex and stuff it into the dealer's shuttle and head out to get the rental. It turned out that we had to backtrack about 45 miles or so in the direction we'd just come from. The rental guy is great, the car is ready, it's hot as hell, and we unload the shuttle, load up the Edge, and head right back the way we'd just driven. It's now mid-afternoon, and I hadn't eaten a thing all day. Driving through Arizona, we passed several lightning and rainstorms, which were really quite cool, except the one short moment in which it was raining so hard we could barely see. Arnie does a search for the best food in Flagstaff, Arizona, and we choose a brewery pub and used his iPhone GPS to get there. The Edge we rented didn't have GPS. Dinner at the Lumberyard Brewing Company was terrific, and their beers were just what this tired dad needed. Back on the road, Arnie took over driving, and we arrived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a little after 11 p.m. after starting the day 16 hours earlier. 30 minutes later, we're asleep in a flea bag motel just off the freeway. And that's the end of chapter 2. As always, there are photos and links to the places we went to. I hope you enjoyed chapter 2, and I hope you'll stay tuned for the continuation of this B-Vlog, a book vlog. Thanks.